Welcome back to Faces and Places across the United States. Today we're going to talk with Zack, as Sandra calls him in Virginia, from Washington, D.C.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our web chat, Faces and Places across the United States. My name is Sandra, and I'll be your host today. I'll be talking to our guest, Zack. Hi, Zack.
Hi, good morning, Sandra. How are you?
Good, thank you. Welcome to our chat, Zack. It's so wonderful to have you here with us at our American English at State Facebook page.
Thanks for the invitation. I'm a big fan of Faces and Places.
Excellent. We are so happy that you have joined us for this web chat. Let's ask our audience before we start, where are they joining us from? So don't forget, put it in the comments box. Tell us where are you joining us from today, and we will say hello to you in a little while. In the meantime, Zack, where are you now?
So I'm currently in Virginia, just a few miles south of Washington, D.C., south of the capital. But I'm originally from Kansas, which you can see in the middle of the map. But I'm joining you from Virginia today.
So we are not very far from each other. I'm in Washington, D.C., but tell me a little bit about the weather. What is the weather like there?
It's a pretty nice day. It's a sunny late spring day, so it's beautiful.
Looks really nice. It looks like today we have people joining us from the Philippines. We have people in Mexico City, India, Moscow, Egypt, Brazil, and Costa Rica. So we have people from all over the world who are here with us today.
That's awesome. Well, welcome, everyone.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about something really fun. We're going to be talking about hobbies. Hobbies is something that you enjoy doing. I'm thinking of some hobbies that I like. I like exercising, but one of my new hobbies is knitting. I'm trying to learn. I'm still not very good at it, but I am trying to learn knitting. So tell me about you. What are some of your favorite hobbies?
Sure. Knitting is a great one. My wife is a big knitter. So like a lot of people, I've been staying home a lot more lately. I've been working from home. And so that's been challenging, but it's given me the chance to work on my hobbies a little bit more. So I've been reading more than I have been lately. I've been watching some TV shows that I wanted to catch up on. And one of my favorite hobbies that I've been spending a lot more time on is gardening. So we're growing some of our own vegetables this summer.
Oh, wow, gardening. Okay, you have to tell me more about it because I am not very good with plants. I'm trying to grow a few things here and there, but I'm not very good. And I believe we are looking at a picture of a garden right now. So tell me more about it.
Yeah, so this is our garden plot. We don't own this land. It's in a community garden. So it's in a sort of a park that's owned by the city. And we rent this garden plot from the city. So we planted this garden about 2.5 months ago in early March. So this photo is almost 3 months old. And this photo is from about 3 weeks ago. So you can see the progress. These are mostly lettuces. So you have some beautiful lettuce growing, some kale on the left. And in the front, you can see some strawberries growing.
I see some beautiful vegetables growing there. Very green, very nice.
So I actually have a little show and tell. I wanted to show off some of our salad that we picked yesterday. So we're going to have a salad from our garden for dinner tonight. It's one of the most rewarding parts of gardening is after all your hard work, you get to eat the vegetables that you grow.
Yeah, and I believe we have now the picture of before and after so people can see how, a few months and then you had great results.
It's so much fun and so rewarding to see over a relatively short period of time how much progress. Those little seeds turn into big plants that you can eat.
I know, and it looks like we have one of our guests, one of our viewers today, Maria. She's saying that she also is growing vegetables. So we have some other people who are also gardening just like you are. So tell me, why do you like gardening?
So like I mentioned, it's really rewarding to grow your own food and know where your food comes from and what went into growing your food. I like that it's an opportunity to spend time outside in the sun. It's something that I can do with my wife. So we garden together and we can share the work. And it's just a lot of fun, and it's a good way to sort of stay grounded and do something with your hands, especially in a strange time like this.
I know we also have a lot of time, and then we need things to help us relax and enjoy now the beautiful weather in some parts of the world. So how did you learn to garden?
So I'm still learning to garden. It's one of those things, one of those hobbies that you can keep learning your whole life and you'll never know everything. But it's really not hard to get started. So I grew up gardening. My parents had a garden and I helped them work in the garden, grow flowers and vegetables. But it's only in the past 2 years or so that I've been gardening on my own as an adult. So it's been fun to learn about what sorts of plants you can grow in Virginia, what the soil's like, and things like that.
Yeah, because it's going to depend on the weather, your location. So what is the most challenging part about gardening?
Well, there's a lot of different factors that you have to consider. So you have to think about the weather. You can't grow plants, you can't grow tropical plants if you live in Canada, for example. So how hot does it get in the summer? How cold does it get in the winter? How humid is it? These are things you have to take into consideration. You have to think about the soil quality and what sorts of plants grow well in the soil where you live. The two biggest challenges for most gardeners, I would say, are one, weeds. So weeds are plants that are growing in your garden that you don't want growing in your garden that you didn't plant. So most people spend a lot of time trying to remove weeds from their garden. The other big challenge for most gardeners is pests. So a pest is something like an insect or a deer, any kind of animal that's eating your plants that you spent so much hard work growing. So last year, the first year that we had a garden in Virginia, we lost a lot of our lettuce because deer ate it.
Oh no.
So yeah, it was very sad. And so this year we were wise, we were smarter, and we built a small fence around our garden. And so no deer have eaten our lettuce this year. But dealing with garden pests is a big challenge.
Yeah, it seems like it's a lot of work.
It can be. Although you can start small. If anyone is sort of thinking about whether they should get into gardening, I would suggest that they start small. And you know, if you have a balcony, or even if you just have a window, you can put a plant in a pot and grow even a tomato plant that way.
Oh wow, tomato plants. I know I've tried to grow cilantro. I was successful for a little bit, and then I think I overwatered it. So what is your favorite thing to grow?
Oh, so we recently harvested our first broccoli from the plot. That was a lot of fun. I'd never grown broccoli before. I also like, even though you can't eat them, I really like growing flowers because that makes the gardening experience a lot more pleasant and keeps your garden plot really pretty. So we have a lot of marigolds, is a specific kind of flower in our plot right now, and they smell really nice. And so that's our favorite flower.
We have a lot of questions coming from our audience, so I'm gonna try to read some of those questions. But don't forget, if you have questions, don't hesitate to put them in the comments box. So what Maria and Kraus want to know, what made you decided to start gardening? I think you mentioned is because you had experience with your dad.
Yeah, I worked with my mom and my dad in the garden growing up, and it was a lot of fun. And it's just a good way to spend time outside, to work with your hands, and it's really gratifying to grow your own food and to know where your food came from.
Yeah, we have Kamal. Kamal wants to know how you have time to take care of your garden on a daily basis.
So we don't go every day. We go maybe once or twice a week. And normally it rains enough that we don't have to water things very often. but we go about once or twice a week, and so we usually go in the evenings or on the weekends.
Okay, here's an interesting question. Iman wants to know if you would like to take on gardening as a job, as a full-time job.
I don't know if I'm cut out for that job. I don't know that that would be the right job for me. But I know a lot of, my grandfather was a farmer, and so I know that that can be really rewarding work, but I don't think that's for me.
We have Marta Garcia, and she wants to know, when is the best time for planting?
That depends on where you live and on what you want to grow. So where I live in Virginia, we started planting things. Well, we started seeds back in February in our apartment, and then we put them in the ground. But in Virginia, most things in our garden we've planted in March and April. It really depends on where you live and what you're growing.
Yeah, and talking about where you live, we have Carla Mendez in Canada, and she's saying that sometimes they have to cover the strawberries during the winter there, and also during the spring and summer. And she's wondering, do you have to cover some of your plants?
We have not done that. We maybe should have covered our strawberries last winter, but it was warm enough that they survived. So we haven't done that in our garden.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't as cold this winter. And we have Marie, LA, and Zach, have you ever thought of gardening as a business?
As a business, we haven't tried that yet. We have a pretty small garden and we're very new at it. So we're mostly growing food for ourselves and maybe our friends, but we're not there yet.
But I know now, it could probably be a good business during this time, right?
It's pretty common in the United States for larger cities to have a farmer's market where people like us can go and sell their produce. So it is something that people do as sort of small business owners.
Yeah, and it's usually pretty fresh. We have Mohammed wants to know about how to grow a garden on the roof. I've heard about it, and I know some people are doing it, especially in big urban cities. What do you know about it?
That's a good question. I haven't tried this myself, but we have a balcony on our apartment, and so we have a number of plants in pots on our balcony. We even have 2 fig trees on our balcony, and so you just have to keep in mind how much light you get wherever you are. If you're on the top of a roof, then you probably have full sun, so that's something to keep in mind. I know a lot of people do it successfully. I don't have any experience with it.
Yeah, so I used to teach elementary school, and I know now some elementary schools in the city have gardens, and a lot of them are actually on the roof. So I know it's a new trend, and I know people are trying to be more into gardening, even if they live in a big urban city. Let's see, I think we have one more question. Karima lives in North Africa, and what kind of plants should they plant? What do you think about in North Africa?
North Africa, I have to admit, I don't know what the climate is like. I don't necessarily know what would grow well in North Africa. So I would just encourage you to do some research and see what sorts of plants would grow well where you live.
Is that something that you have done, like trying to decide what to grow, look online and figure it out?
You do some internet research in advance. There are usually, depending on what country you live in, there might be some government resources about from the Department of Agriculture or something like that.
That is a good idea. It's a good place to start. Zach, can you believe our time is almost up? We have had a really great discussion today, and our viewers had great questions.
They have.
Yeah, so we really want to thank you for telling us about your hobbies, but specifically about gardening. We have learned a lot. Maybe I'll be motivated again to grow something in my house. Maybe I'll try one more time. And if you want to practice more English, don't forget, you can always come to our website, americanenglish.state.gov. You can visit us on our YouTube channel, and you can also visit us on our Facebook page. We have tons of resources that can help you practice your English, and you can watch this again and maybe get some tips about gardening. But we want to thank you again, Zach, for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. We encourage you to continue to be actively engaged in our website and on Facebook and our Facebook page. And we will see you again in a couple of weeks in our next episode of Faces and Places across the United States. Thank you very much for watching.